Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Recently I was talking about this plant which is called Feverfew. This plant Feverfew is it's a very small plant. Let me show you some images. Beautiful flowers like daisies, and the leaves are the ones that you eat when you have a headache. So they're a little bitter. It seems that the bitter is very good for headaches and fever, because also the neem plant is good for that. So anyway, this plant, the Feverfew, if I looked upon more details on Wikipedia, and it was quite funny because it mentions it is not actually going to cure your headache, but it's a placebo effect, and there's no scientific proof and all this stuff. So when last week when I was a little sick and I had a headache, I took some, and I was fine. 10 minutes later the headache was gone, and it made me think how science needs all this scientific proof, but what is the difference if you have a headache and you take this little plant and your headache is gone? If it's real or not real, if it's a placebo or it's an actual active ingredient that solves the problem, it doesn't matter, because for me, to my experience, I was experiencing this pain, the headache, and then suddenly the pain is gone. So it's worth it, you know. There's no need to discuss if it's real or not real. And this comes into an important topic, which is the reality of this world and the reality of dreams. Because, well, when we have a dream, let's say I dream that I'm being chased by a tiger. In the dream I might even be sweating, and it might appear very real. But when I wake up, then after I'm a little scared and I come back to my senses, then I say, oh, it was just a dream. But the dream, while it was happening, it felt very real. So the same thing happens with this life, because we have a body that lasts 100 years, but then eventually this body will end, and then after that we'll say, oh, it was just a dream, it was just a temporary thing, it was just longer temporary, 100 years temporary thing, but it has the same nature. In the opposite side, there's the spiritual dreams, and spiritual dreams are very peculiar. They're mentioned in a very nice scripture called Jaiva Dharma. This is a very complete summary of Krishna consciousness, of this Vedic way. And it is not appropriate for general people, because it uses so many Sanskrit terms and it's very technical. It is more of an advanced study once one has been practicing this teaching for a while. But just to give you a little taste, it mentions different states of mind while meeting or in separation of God. While meeting God, the Sanskrit term is called sambhoga, or union. So there is one kind of sambhoga, which is in a dream, and it's let me read a little bit from Jaiva Dharma. It says, Prabhu, could we go into the subject of Gauna Sambhoga? So it's a question. And it says, Sambhoga in a dream state, when Krishna appears and performs suitable pastimes, is known as Gauna Sambhoga. The dreams are two kinds, Samanya, general, and Vishesha, significant. Hence, Gauna Sambhoga is also of two kinds. And it continues to explain, the dreams of Krishna that occur when Vyabhichari Bhava of Nidra is prominent are in this context referred to as general. However, the distinctive feature of Vishesha Sambhoga is that the distinct visions of Krishna that it affords fully evoke Sthai Bhava and all the Sanchari Bhavas. So, well, it gets technical quite quickly. That's what I was saying. It's a little bit more advanced. But in common words, there are all these ecstatic symptoms that are evoked when we meet God in person. And things, I don't know, there's so many symptoms like crying, fainting, or rolling on the ground, yawning, all these things. And of course, all the symptoms of pure love that also appear when we meet God face to face. So all these things are happening naturally in the conscious state in the spiritual world. But there's also the nidra or sleeping state, which is similar to what we have here. But the difference is that in this sleeping state, there is also spiritual meetings with God. And according to the intensity, if it's very brief or a long dream, very elaborate, well, it's categorized differently. But the meeting with God in a dream is just as good as meeting God in person. There is a transcendental quality to it, because both, even in conscious or in a sleeping state, both symptoms, in both cases, the symptoms of that love are expressed fully. And that is just completely amazing. And we have a little taste of that when we have dreams in this world that are material, they have nothing to do with God, like the tiger. Well, we're sweating, and you wake up and then you realize that your body is sweating. So that there's a mixture in between the dream and reality, or what we would call our conscious state. And this gives us a hint that in the spiritual world, the spiritual dreams, they all are actually real, although they appear within a dream. They are factual, they are eternal. And it is a big difference in between the spiritual world and the material world. If I have a dream in the material world, it's just temporary, and even life in the material world is temporary. So the whole thing is actually unreal or non-existent. It's just a very quick thing. But in the spiritual world, everything that happens there is eternal. And even if you remember some spiritual activity, you experience all the symptoms of that activity. So that makes it real. And so very quickly the whole thing becomes subjective. And that is the nature of love. You cannot measure love, weigh love, and all these things. And it's the same thing with this little plant that you just take and it removes your headache. Does it matter if it's real or not real, or if there is a scientific active principle or not? I mean, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you're suffering, and then you take this thing and it goes away. And it doesn't hurt you in any way, and you don't have to pay corporation to get Advil or some pills, that do hurt the body, do hurt the system. And this is the nature of dreams. I personally experienced a spiritual dream in the very beginning of my spiritual practice. I prayed to God that please show me that this path is a real thing. There's so many options and I'm not sure if this is a real thing. So please reveal a little bit to me so that I can at least walk with confidence through this path. And I had this amazing dream in which I experienced emotions that I rarely or didn't experience in this world yet. And they were so real and so complete and unique and beautiful that for me that was the proof that this path was real. It was the first really solid step towards this path of the Vedic way. And it just convinced me, and there was no way, somebody could have come and tell me, no, it's just a dream, it's not real. But to me, the dream was so real, and the emotions I felt within that dream were so real that there was no discussion. Nobody had to convince me that, oh, this is real or not. It was so sure within my heart. And the emotions that were appearing there are so beautiful that it was just undeniable. And the same thing happens with the Gopis, for example. The Gopis are the eternal devotees of God in a conjugal mood. And sometimes, for pastimes, when Krishna comes to this world, he gets away from the Gopis. He disappears from their vision and goes for many years. But it is explained in the scriptures that factually, although God is far away, every night he appears within the minds of the Gopis, and he performs the rasa dance in the dream. But because the dream is real, so they actually are meeting always with Krishna, even in the dreams. So it becomes extremely beautiful and very sweet pastimes. When you fall in love with God, there's no way he's gonna leave you, and if you're really in pain, suffering from his separation, he will always be merciful and come back and appear. He won't let you die of pain. Sometimes the devotees are suffering so much they want to die because I can't meet my love, I can't meet my beloved. So they desire death, but of course it's just part of the sweetness of the pastimes, and they don't die. And eventually God appears like a hero, and well, they meet again. And this eternal loving activities continue forever. Eternal blissful pastimes. If you have any questions or comments, please visit our website, thevedicway.org. Thank you. Hare Krishna.